Do it before you try to write it down, and I'll read it to you several times. The second opinion was that Dred Scott didn't even have the right to appeal any of his earlier decisions to the Supreme Court because he's not legally a citizen of the United States. This is the second opinion on that. Dred Scott did not even have the right to appeal earlier decisions to the Supreme Court as they ruled he was not legally a citizen of the United States. So because of the second opinions, why they ruled on the first? So again, the second opinion, they said that Dred Scott did not even have the right to appeal earlier decisions to the Supreme Court, as he was not legally a citizen of the United States. So what does that ruling state overall? That all slaves that lived in the United States are what? Not citizens. So that ruling says that every single slave, not free men, or free slaves, but slaves are not citizens of the United States. So if you're a free slave, are you a citizen?
No.
You are, because you're not a slave. You see what I'm saying? You're a free slave, but you're not a slave. Okay? You're a free man.
So then if they're not citizens, they just follow the rules?
Well, that's a good question. And obviously black men or women weren't allowed to vote at this time, right? And so they were just, the point is, all these slaves in the United States, by law, the highest court in the land states they are not citizens of the United States. That's pretty amazing when you think
So
about
was this guy born into slavery?
it. You know, it wouldn't have mattered because remember that turned 25 deals? Remember that was the amendment that didn't pass.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, remember the Talmadge Amendment did not pass. Remember, people get confused on it. So, all right, any questions on that? That's really was a weird ruling in American history. Roger Taney, if you care, was the Supreme Court Justice at the time that ruled on that, and seemed a little odd to everybody. All right, that'll take us to our next subtopic, which is Abraham Lincoln emerges into politics in America. Here comes Abraham Lincoln. You know, he really rose pretty quickly, because we just had the election of what? 1856, and we haven't even hardly talked about the guy yet. So we're going to go back and tell you how all of a sudden he became so popular. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about him. Now, at this point, in 1858, nobody really knows much about Abraham Lincoln. He's a very little-known politician. Nobody knows a lot about him, but there's going to be a Senate race in Illinois in 1858 that's going to put him on the national scene. Now, who's the big, powerful senator from Illinois right now? We talked about several times. On the Transcontinental Railroad, led to the Kansas-Nebraska Act. Stephen Douglas. Stephen Douglas is up for re-election. And it's one of these deals that everybody thinks there's no question Douglas will win. Anybody that would even challenge Douglas would probably be wasting their time, right? Well, this little-known Abraham Lincoln decides that he's going to challenge the powerful Stephen Douglas in this senatorial race. Lincoln is going to be a Republican, right? And Stephen Douglas is a powerful Democrat. So at this point in American history, 1858, Abraham Lincoln is a little-known politician. However, a Senate election in the state of Illinois is going to change all of that. In 1858, Democratic Senator Stephen Douglas would be running for re-election, and the Republican Party nominated this little-known Abraham Lincoln to challenge him. Now, Abraham Lincoln, if you know this, you don't really have, he was born in Kentucky, he moved to Illinois, he joined the Whig Party when he first started politics, and in his early 20s he was elected to the Illinois State Legislature, which should be like what Greer, what's his first name? Mike Greer, that's what he is. He's in the Wyoming State Legislature. So Abraham Lincoln in his early 20s was elected to the Illinois state legislature, okay? And then he was elected to the House of Representatives, which is the branch of Congress other than the Senate. And he served his 1 2-year term in the House, pretty little known, and then decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to run for the Senate against this Stephen Douglas fellow. And nobody gave him a chance. Nobody gave him a chance. Now, how many people are in speech and debate here? Speech and debate, okay? So, what happened is Lincoln even boldly challenged Stephen Douglas to a series of debates. And everybody thought he was crazy because Douglas was a well-polished, experienced politician. And everybody's mind is he would crush this little-known Abraham Lincoln. Douglas was known as the best debater of the times. People thought Lincoln was incredibly foolish for taking on Douglas in a series of debates. Well, if you're Douglas, do you accept Lincoln's offer? Fast as you can. Fast you can, because you think this is really going to make the difference, right? So they debated 7 times in 1858 from August until September. So in August and September, in that 2-month period of time, they met and debated 7 different times. Now picture this in your mind, these two guys debating. Here's Douglas, well-groomed and polished, stocky figure, bullish voice. Okay? Lincoln, lanky, tall, baggy clothing, unshined shoes, and it had a high-pitched, somewhat feminine voice. Okay? They were the polar opposites. Again, here's Douglas, well-groomed, looking good, well-polished, short, stocky man with this bullish voice. Abraham Lincoln, tall, skinny, wore baggy clothing, didn't shine his shoes, and had a high-pitched voice. Well, this is kind of like when you have a first-ranked team. Well, I'll use this basketball. So Dominic's going to wrestle the #1 ranked kid in his weight class, and I don't know what he's ranked, but he's ranked kind of towards the bottom. I don't know if that's true, but nobody really knows Dominic in the wrestling circles, and all of a sudden he's at the Ron-Thon, and he wrestles this #1 guy and gets beat 2-1 in the championship. Dominic doesn't win, but he gains great respect from other wrestlers and coaches because, man, he almost beat this guy that he supposedly was going to get pinned in the first period. Well, that's what happened with Lincoln. He lost the election to Stephen Douglas, but he had established himself in national politics with his efforts and his courage to challenge the man. And that's how people began to hear of Abraham Lincoln, and this is going to pave his way to be elected president in 1860. Nobody even knew him in 1858. 2 years later, he's going to be elected president. A lot because of the showing that he had against the polished veteran Senator Stephen Douglas in that race. Okay? Now, do you have Lincoln-Douglas debate format in your speech and debate? Huh. Wonder where that came from.
You know that?
Wonder where that came from.
I don't do debate.
Does anybody do debate in here and has done Lincoln-Douglas debate? Yeah, that's where it came from. That's the style. That was the style they used. You learn something every day, don't you? All right. Well, we'll stop there and talk about John Brown's raid at Harpers Ferry, Virginia tomorrow. If you, Zoe, could hand those out, and you, Ray Lynn, could hand these out, and then we're going to have to find yours, Zoe, in the other box.